guys, this is Surbhi from the Mom Store back with the expert talk this week. This week we will be having a very special guest with us. Her name is Shwetambari Shetty and she's one of the leading names in the fitness industry today. And as she joins, I just want to share a background. I am her fan. I got to know about Shwetambari way back in 2014 and I will share that story soon. And yes, very excited for this session today. Yes, she's just joined. Hi, Shwetambari.
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay. Oh, yeah. Am I audible, visible,
Yes.
everything?
Yes.
I normally have some network glitches on and off, but yeah, I've tried to do my best. Thank you so much, Surbi, for having me over. Thank you, the Mom
Thank
Store.
you.
Really
Thank you to
nice
you.
of you.
Yeah. And I'm so excited for this session, and so is our community. We've got like tons of questions that have come in, as well as, I'm sure people are waiting to know more about this session. So,
Yes,
first
yes,
thing
absolutely.
first, I think one of the most important things that I first learned at Tribe and then at Cult that everything starts on time. So here we are at 11:30. Today was the day I did not want to miss,
Yeah.
and be late by even a minute because one of my fitness idols is in front of me. Uh, so just getting started, just to introduce Shwetambari, though she needs no introduction, is I first got to know of her way back in 2014 when I joined the Tribe Fitness Club in Indiranagar in Bangalore, just after moving to Bangalore. And I used to see, gape in awe of this lady whose Zumba fitness classes used to be full. And in CrossFit, I would just like stand there as like, a teenager in awe of, all the fitness passion that you showed on the floor. Um,
Oh,
for all those who don't know yet, but Shwetambari's was a co-founder of Tribe Fitness Club, which went on to be acquired by CultFit, and now she's a fitness expert, and her classes are a rage online and offline on CultFit. So welcome, Shwetambari.
thank
Very
you.
glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Surbi. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
we should just, I know the memories of Tribe are just so pleasant and obviously something, you can never get over and forget. But I'm glad, through Cult and CureFit, we've been able to reach out to so many more people across
yes,
this country. It really feels good. And now, of course, even internationally through our app and everything. So it really feels great to be a part of, this big change in the industry of fitness. And yeah, and this is like this year is crazy, but for me, I
yeah.
think it's crazy also, but somewhere it's also worked in my favor. I've been home most time this year during pregnancy and of course now post delivery. So yeah, looking
Yeah.
forward now to complete my maternity and get back.
Right. And that brings us to the topic of today, which is postpartum fitness. And since, like you mentioned, you're going through your own journey of postpartum, I think it's, just appropriate that we dive right into the topic
Sure.
and, help our community understand more about what is postpartum fitness and what are the do's and don'ts of the same,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, to get started, the most common question that every woman has is, when should I start to try getting back in shape right after my delivery? What's the right time? Should I wait for my gynae to tell me, or can I, start walking or doing light exercises? So, what's your
Yeah,
opinion?
yeah. So I'll tell you, I want to start by saying, you know, every woman, who's gone through pregnancy and delivery, of course, goes through a huge bodily change. And of course, physical is one, but there is a lot of mental shift as well, right? Because at one side, you've just delivered this baby, your life, your heart, your everything, and you are just so, excited and overwhelmed. But in the other side, you look at yourself and you're like, oh my God, like look at me. Okay. A lot of women go through this, most women maybe. Uh, First up, be very thankful to your body for what it has done. All right.
Right.
Do not stand in front of the mirror and be like, who am I and what is this body and how am I ever going to get rid of this and get back to my old self? It will happen. It's a lot of hard work, but it'll happen gradually. But first up, you need to love your body for what it has done. Only when your mind is positive and you start respecting and loving your body will the bigger changes start happening. Okay, it's the postpartum depression is real. The
Yeah.
anxiety is real, right? It happens to a lot of us, but it happens for a lot of reasons, not necessarily because of our body and all of that, right? But the important thing is start by respecting the body and loving the body, no matter who says what around you. Okay. I know the feeling. Some of them have written to me saying that I go through body shaming. I went through body shaming after my delivery. Okay. Just like with people, whoever around, talking about, oh my God, look at you, how much weight, and, etc. Yeah. The world is there to sometimes put you down, to sometimes lift you. Don't like overreact to this. And I mean, I love my parents, but I must tell you this, that after my delivery, my mom and dad looked at me and they're like, and they've always known to see me super fit. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like, why does your stomach still look so
Exactly.
huge, right?
I
And
know.
for once, I was like,
The thing happened to
Mom,
me.
you went through this yourself.
Yeah.
But then I understand it was a long time ago, and their reaction to looking at me is this way is very different from what they normally see me, right? So love yourself, respect your body, and we'll start from there, right? It's
Yeah.
very, very important for you to just start getting active soon after, okay? In a normal delivery, yes, you can get active or start walking from day 2, day 3, day 4. Active is just walking around the house, nothing else, right? Even in a C-section, I know there is pain, but for the first few days you can rest it, maybe 3, 4 days. But most time, gynacs tell you just start moving a little bit with some support from day 2 or day
Right.
3, because you want some blood circulation to
Right.
happening and all of that, right? So yes, you're in pain, but start moving a little bit, maybe from one room to the other. Very, very, very slow steps, even in C-section. That movement is necessary. You don't have to lie in bed like you can't move or anything. With support, start moving from day 2, day 3, day 4. Then the best thing to start postpartum is walking. If that's the best thing even during pregnancy, right? But I would say start walking as
Right.
early as you can. It could be 3,000 steps, 4,000 steps, 5,000 steps, whatever you're comfortable with. Now you can start walking, especially for normal delivery. You can start as early as 1, 2 weeks, right?
Hmm.
You can just, even if you can step outside, yeah, go out for a nice 20-minute walk outdoor, feel fresh, and come back. Or walk indoor if you can't leave your child for too long, or not even for like 20, 30 minutes. For C-section, you can start in maybe about 2 weeks.
Hmm.
2 weeks just moving a little bit is okay, but after 2 weeks you're feeling a lot better, so you again start walking a little more than you normally do. So the best thing to start with is walking. That should be your go-to, and you can track how much you're moving, how many steps you're doing, all of that on your watch or on your phone. All right, you have smartwatches, you have smartphones, just track it,
Hmm.
or forget even tracking, just feel good, right? If you're just moving around, you're allowing blood circulation, you just feel good, right? So
Yeah.
you can do this walking for about 2, 3, even 4 weeks, right? I did a lot of walking right from day 2 or day 3. After every meal, okay, after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, I would sit down for about 20, 25 minutes soon after my meal. Then I would get up and walk for about 15 minutes, right?
Hmm.
And then, of course, every time you finish nursing, because you're sitting for quite a while nursing,
Yeah.
finish nursing, get up, and whether while you're burping the baby or once you finish burping and your baby's asleep, walk for
Yeah.
about 10 minutes, right? So simple things you can incorporate soon after you deliver and you start nursing.
Hmm.
Then comes, how do we start a little more than walking, right?
Yeah.
A very important thing is to work on your core rehab, right? Your midsection,
Hmm.
the pelvic floor of the woman, that consists of your bowel and your uterus, most importantly, right? Bladder and bladder. goes through a lot of load. Your body has really shifted, the center of gravity is shifted. Your body has changed its shape in so many ways to make place for that baby and all that, right? Your pelvic floor has taken a lot of load, a lot of beating. So you need to start with core rehab. Okay. So walking with followed by core rehab. Now, in your core rehab, you can do movements like, your Kegel is very, very famous. People do it during pregnancy also, right? And in simple terms, what is Kegel? You can just sit when you're breastfeeding also, you can do it. So imagine you're sitting on the pot and you're peeing, okay? And suddenly you stop peeing in between. You kind of suck in like that, right? And you stop peeing, and then you release, and then you start peeing again. Don't do it on the pot at all. That's not good. But when you're sitting down or when you're lying down, when you're standing and brushing, anytime you can do this movement of in and release, in and release. You can do about 10 reps, maybe 3 times a day at different times, right? Kegel is very good for pelvic floor strengthening. Then there is leg slide, hip bridge, pelvic tilt. So some of these movements I'll show a little later, but these are the movements that can really, really, really help you strengthen the pelvic core, a pelvic floor muscle, right? So that should be your next thing after walking. Focus on core rehab. Now, recently, I was talking to a sports physiotherapist. She's in Mumbai, of course, and we connected on Instagram. And she was telling me overseas, wherever she, worked out of in the past, it was mandatory for every woman who delivered to get a go-ahead from the physiotherapist before they started physical activity, which is so amazing, right? We go back to our gynacs. Of course, they are great and they tell us what to do and what not to. But some of us don't even go to the gynacs to get a go-ahead because, sometimes our gynacs don't tell us, okay, go for it, don't, it's different opinions, right? But that's all. We never go to a physiotherapist and see, is my stability, pelvic stability, is my spine, all of that, fine? Am I all right? Is my abdomen good enough for me to start certain type of activity? So I think she made a great point that everyone should see a physiotherapist soon after or whenever they want to start, activities and movement and exercise, which is what I did last week. I mean, of course, I finished 2.5 months already and I've been very active in doing stuff. But because she told me to do so, I actually went to my physiotherapist and I just did a check, like check my abdomen muscles, so on and so forth, all my stability, mobility, everything. I was happy to know that, I was doing everything pretty much safely and slowly and right. So he didn't tell me to change much. He just told me that, I can just continue as I am and, keep adding more stuff, right? But this is something that every woman should start doing post-delivery when they want to start exercising. Whether it's a C-section or normal, go to a physiotherapist, understand where you're at to start what sort of activity, right? So walking followed by a lot of core rehab. Now, I focused on core rehab for a good, I think about 6 weeks, right? I just did core rehab, right? Nothing else. The same movements every day. It would take me about 20-25 minutes. That's it. But that's all I did. I will list down the different type of movements, Surbi, and you can put it up on your post for people to access on a regular basis. But that's something you can do. And I would also, like I said, urge women to go to, a physiotherapist and get themselves checked. Now, in a normal delivery, you can get back to, your core rehab in like week 2, even week 1, if I may say so, if there are no other complications or issues at all. But for people, anyone with C-section, I would say you can start about week 3. Okay, just basic core rehab, like the hip bridge. In fact, some of them start even at like, day 4, like your hip bridges and pelvic tilt while you're lying down. You can do these things. You don't have to necessarily set up a separate mat and all of that. You can do it in bed as well, right? So yeah, week 3, week 4 for someone with C-section for core rehab. And for normal, I would say week 1 or 2, start with core rehab. Go with the core rehab for about 4 to 6 weeks. And then you can step it up a little more by doing some moderate intensity workouts. Nothing like doing it supervised by a trainer, who understands, that's the best thing to do. But if you are someone who's done a lot of physical activity during pregnancy and even before, you understand your body better and you can slowly start incorporating, right?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
great. That's like some really, really good advice. And I think, we can actually get onto some of those exercises that you mentioned, which are the ones that you use for core rehab and all, because I think that will be more helpful for people to understand what those terms mean and what are
Yeah.
those list of exercises that they can do.
Sure. I'll just, since we don't have a lot of time, I will just maybe show two, three of them. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Then,
then you can, of course, share it, later on the post or something, for
right.
people to access it easily. And then we can talk about, after that, we can talk a little bit about a lot of people, I think, also want to know that if lactation becomes an issue when you work out, right? That is one
Yeah.
question. So I want to talk about that because I'm also feeding and I'm also working out, and based on my experience and based on all that whatever little I know, I'd like to share. So let me show you about a few movements. Please tell me if you're not able to see or if you're not able to understand. All
Yeah.
right.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna your one of the basic things that you would want to do. Are you able to see? No.
Yeah. Yeah. We can see.
No, but you need to see my.
Yeah. Now we can see a match.
One second, let me just push it back. Yeah, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the very important things to do is your abdominal breathing, all right? So just focus on my abdomen, okay? So abdominal breathing is when you inhale through your nose and your stomach really expands, and you exhale through your mouth and your stomach kind of goes back in. You're like belly button not touching the spine but going inward, right? So if you look at the way I'm breathing, do you see it?
Right.
So inhale through your nose. As you inhale, expand. Exhale, goes back to normal. Okay, so this abdominal breathing is very, very important. So always start any of your exercise routine with a lot of, at least 10 reps of abdominal breathing. You can even do this at 3 different times of the day. Okay, and then I told you the Kegel is something you can even sit down like this and just relax your shoulders and focus on just squeezing, releasing. So you'll feel it, right? So you squeeze, release. You can't see, obviously, it's something you feel. Now, if you're sitting on your chair right now, ladies, you moms, try doing it. So imagine you're on the pot and you're peeing and you're suddenly going to control that pee, right? So squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. It's literally like squeezing your vagina, all right? So squeeze, release, okay? So you do that about 10 reps, 3 different times of the day. Then we have the pelvic tilt, which is again very important. So down on the floor, I hope you can see me. Okay, now
Yeah.
you lie down. Okay, now again, look here. Now there is a natural arch in my back, right? Where I can actually insert my fingers, okay? This is a natural arch. So what you do is now do the abdominal breathing. Inhale, exhale, hips come upwards and your back touches the floor. Do you see
Mhm.
it? Inhale, exhale. Do you see my abdomen going inward?
Right.
Inhale, arch of the back happens. Exhale, spine touching the floor and pelvic lifting. Inhale, exhale. Okay, it's a simple pelvic tilt. You can even keep your hands here. You feel it. Inhale, exhale. Yeah, you'll feel this lifting and your spine touching the floor. Simple. Do about 10 reps of those. Another good one is leg slide. So in this position, all you do is extend your leg all the way out. Keep it touched on the floor at all times in the beginning. And as a progression, eventually, you can start lifting it off the floor. So this can be a little more challenging, right? Now here, you need to be very mindful that when you're back, there is an arch. When you're putting your leg out, your spine is actually getting close to the floor and back. Okay. And another very important one is the hip bridge. So knees bent, comfortable. Now
Yeah.
inhale, lift your hips up and exhale, drop. Now drop one vertebrae at a time, the spine all the way on the floor. Okay. Inhale, lift, squeeze that butt, exhale, and drop down. It's simple. Now, to make it a little more complex or rather challenging or scale up, you can always take one leg up. You can put it here and do the same hip bridge. All of these that I just showed here are excellent for your core rehab. Now, these are just some things that you can start with. And like I said, we'll put it on the post and all of that. But there's much more that we can do.
Right.
There's much more we can do for core rehab. And yeah, we can, put them all. But core rehab, yeah, but core rehab is super, super important before you pick up anything else. Okay. Either you just rest it out and do nothing for a while and get back to activities, or you just focus on movement through walking and a lot of core rehab, and then you get back to stronger things like jogging or dancing or yoga. Even yoga, like I was talking to my yoga teacher yesterday, and she was like, we don't even advise people to get back to yoga for like 6 to 8 weeks, right? And in some cases, like in C-section and all of that, they say just wait for like close to 6 months. They don't advise you to do Surya Namaskars and all of that for a long time. So what they tell you to do and don't in yoga is also very different from what they would otherwise say in your other fitness spaces and all of that. So best is to take advice from a physiotherapist, which I believe is one of the best advices I have gotten recently, and that's what I did, right? So yeah. The other thing I want to touch upon, I mean, if you have any questions, you can ask me, but something I want to talk about is how to make time. A lot of people have been asking me, how do you find the time to exercise when you are nursing and when you're exhausted and all of that, right? Look, I understand it's not easy. The first 3 to 4 months is very, very difficult. But then this is how I looked at it, right? And I went through both the phases of I had a lot of help in the first month, and the second month I had zero help, right? It was just my husband and I managing everything, okay? And we're obviously new parents. You have 24 hours in a day, okay? Your child is sleeping anything between 14 to 17 hours. That's like good sleep for a baby, right? Newborn, 14 to 17 hours. You as an adult do not sleep 14 to 16 hours ever. You've not slept in the past. You don't sleep now. You can't sleep 14 to 16 hours. So sleep when your baby sleeps is a great thing to do, but you cannot sleep 14 hours, right? So I get a very good 7 hours of sleep, of course, broken in the night, maybe 3, 4 hours, and during the day, one or 2 hours, right? But I ensure I get 7 hours. So you are sleeping for 7 to 8 hours, let's say 10 hours, okay? And then you're feeding every 2 to 3 hours. There's so much time that you have in between. Are you telling me that we cannot make 30 to 40 minutes for ourselves? We can, right? So that's my logic. I mean, until now, if I had to say that you can, find time, maybe it would be unfair, but I've experienced it today, and which is why I'm telling you that every new mom will be able to make time, okay? I'm also nursing. I'm also doing, giving my baby a bath. I'm, playing with my baby. I'm doing all of that, but I find my time. So I wake up in the morning, during the morning feed, I feed my baby, burp, put my baby back to sleep. And then instead of going back to sleep, this is at 5 in the morning, 5 or 5:30, I go get a workout. So I have about 1.5, 2 hours to myself to do a nice slow workout. Then I come back, I have a quick shower, and then I wake her up to feed her again, right? So by 9:30 in the morning, I'm, done with my workout, done with my shower. I feel great. And then when my baby sleeps, sometimes I go back to sleep with my baby for an hour or something, right? So, you can do it. It's really about how badly you want to do it. And another thing I want to tell you also is that if you wait for a very long time, the weight loss process becomes so much more harder, right?
Hmm.
All this is very loose right now. There's a lot of fat, but it's all loose, and chances of it burning a little faster are higher. But if you
Hmm.
keep waiting 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 6 months is good, but 1 year, 2 years, it becomes that much more harder. Okay, so
Right.
start early. If not exercising, just start walking, moving as much as you can. And of course, like I said, I want to come back to the breastfeeding part, the nursing part. We all know that breastfeeding helps you also lose calories, right?
Right.
It is said that you burn anything between like 350 to 500 calories nursing. So
Yeah.
remember, you're burning that many calories anyway. But can that be your only way of losing weight and losing all that fat? No. You need, some more physical work that the body needs to do. So which is why I'm saying do some walking, do some basic stuff that your body allows you to do, right? At the same time, don't compromise on the food you eat because you have to nurse your baby. So you need to get some X amount of calories into your body for for your body to be able to produce milk. You need to drink X amount of water for your body to produce milk. And water is very, very important, as you all know. And you will obviously need more water when you're exercising because there's a little bit of sweating and all that happens. So you will need more water when you're exercising. Keep that in mind. And you will not stop producing milk if you start exercising. So if anyone's telling you that, which I have been asked and told also, it's not true. Moderate intensity workouts will never reduce your milk supply. Maybe sometimes a very vigorous activity or vigorous exercise, it won't impact your supply, but because of all the lactic acid buildup, sometimes breast milk can taste a little different, and things like that can happen. But best is keep it moderate. And from whatever all the journals that I've read, also it doesn't say that there is any real study that has happened which has
Yeah.
proven that your supply reduces, right? I have been exercising. I'm 2.5 months postpartum. I've been exercising from week 3. I've not really had any problems, right? So don't worry about your supply. Your supply is completely dependent on the kind of food you're eating and also the amount of water you're drinking. Another thing to keep in mind, do we need the typical khana or food that we've been told to eat post delivery? Well, the first month I listened to my parents, I listened to the lady who was at home to help us, uh, and I ate exactly all of that, like lots of ghee and lots of you know how it is. um, and I had no issues, like I was happily eating. But then I'm like, do I really need so much ghee? Do I really need so much of this sort of high carb food? Maybe not. I don't know how many of us know this, but there are foods like oats, which
Hmm.
are excellent for breast
For
milk creation.
lactation.
Yeah, for
Yes.
lactation, right? So use oats. And if you start eating oats for breakfast, automatically you're replacing some very high carb breakfast, Indian breakfast, to something that's, that helps with fat loss, fiber, so on and so forth, right? Like oats and apple and pear in it. All of these are good fruits to have while nursing and great for fiber and weight loss, fat loss as well. So that's what I did. The moment my parents went back home and nobody was home, I started replacing my foods. Like I still eat my brown rice and dals and sabzis and my beetroot, carrot, and all that. So I used to get a lot of beetroot, carrot, sabzi cooked. Okay, there's a little bit of oil that goes in. There's a little bit of coconut that goes in, which is all great. So what I started doing now, I started making soups out of it, right? Like, or I started like cooking it, but a more a saute types and not like hardcore Indian way of cooking with a lot of masala. So there's so many ways you can eat nutritious food while keeping lactation in mind and not ensuring that you end up adding a lot of calories. Did you know like avocado is great for lactation? And at the same time, avocado is excellent food, right? It's good fat, And it's something that, you know, we all eat and in the process of fat loss, right?
Yeah.
So I've made these small replacements with my food. I've not completely removed what I was eating, but I've slowly made some changes which can give me great nutrition, which can keep lactation going and help me burn some calories, lose a little bit of fat, so on and so forth, right? Like I've seen, I've already, in like 2.5 months, I've already lost, I think, about 6 kgs. And I have also dropped my, you know, waist size from like 41 to 34 or something, right? So I'm not saying it's easy for everybody to do it. I also have a history of being very active. I was working out, you know, so many last whatever 8 9 years, very, you know, vigorously. I
And that
worked out.
matters a lot to
That
be,
matters a lot.
active for pregnancy and then get into it. And then it's easier to, get back in shape.
Absolutely. And I worked out throughout my pregnancy till my last month. So for me to get back also was sooner. So while I'm saying that I'm doing all this, I'm not saying that it's easy for everybody, but there is a way to start. So all I'm saying is don't wait for a very long time. Don't wait for like 1 year and 1.5 and 2 years. You can start as early as 3 to 4 weeks with movement. Movement does not have to be complex, right? So yeah, that's a lot of stuff that I had to talk about. I can go on, but let's take some questions that you said you
Yeah.
had, and I saw some questions come here about belly fat and things like that. So yeah, happy
Right.
to take some.
Yes. So I think the first question is I had upper back pain in the pregnancy itself, and I took epidural. I'm still having back pain. So what exercises should I do to release the back
Yeah.
pain?
Okay, so first of all, of course, your spine goes through a lot of shift. Like I said earlier, your center of gravity shifted, so the spine takes a lot of impact. If you haven't worked out before and kept your core strong, back pain is like a common problem for a lot of us women, right? First, I would really request you to see, you know, a physiotherapist and understand, you know, what sort of a back problem or pain, not problem, pain you have. Some of the rehab work that your physiotherapist gives you will do all the miracle. Okay. But otherwise, things like your hip bridge and all of that definitely helps your entire core to get stronger. Okay. But if you've had a normal delivery, then you can even start incorporating plank and side plank, your regular plank and side plank. But with C-section, you don't do any, you know, planks, like things that engage the core heavily, you don't do. You just do core rehab. And things like plank and side plank engages, you know, puts a lot of pressure on the core, right? You want to bring it in much later at like week 8 or week 9, not right now. Okay. So first, please see a physiotherapist. Very, very important. There are these orthos are there, physiotherapists are there for a reason. Okay. Second, start doing your basic moves like hip bridges, which I showed you. And if you've
Yeah.
had a normal delivery, you start with your planks and side planks, you know, from week 4 and stuff. These are movements that can really help you strengthen your back.
Right. Let's move to the next question. What is the perfect time for weight loss after delivery? I think this is something that you've
I
covered.
answered, yeah. So I would say you can start from, you know, as early as week 3, week 4, week 5. You just need to understand how to get good calories from your food, you know, and not empty calories, calories that help you with lactation, but don't make you put on more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have the same question multiple times. That is how to lose belly fat after C-section.
Yeah.
And
So belly fat is obviously the most challenging one post delivery, right? Because uh, obviously a lot has happened in that stomach, in that abdomen, in that belly. There is a lot of fat that has, you know, accumulated there. And like I said, the foods that we eat during pregnancy, post delivery, all that is accumulating there more than anywhere else, right? It is the last to go. Okay. And that's the bitter truth. And I'm facing it myself. Like I'm losing weight, you know, very slowly, but I can see my belly is the one, you know, I have this
yeah,
little thing and it's the last one to go. we have to have patience. But if you start early, food is very, very important for belly fat. It's not going to simply go away with exercise. You can't make drastic changes to your food until you're nursing. You can make small changes to your food, right? Small gradual changes. So start those small gradual changes soon enough, at least by week 4, week 5, and you'll see a difference. Start moving and, walking and some exercising, you'll see a difference. But ultimately, for that belly fat to kind of, like completely go away and, you feel good about your belly, it will take you anything between 6 months to 8 months to a year. Okay. Maybe, after you, wean off and stuff like that, that's when you can really go on, a good meal plan that can help you eat good fat and good carbs and some good protein that can help you eliminate all that fat in the belly, and exercise, of course, some good, high intensity workouts, resistance training, good cardio, all that will help you. So vigorous exercise is not something that you want to do during your nursing days. So it will take time. But I promise you, in a year, you will be able to get rid of it if you start on time. Okay,
Yeah.
that's my goal. I've given myself 1 year to be completely back to my old weight, pre-pregnancy weight or pre-pregnancy body. And I started, soon enough. I started moving from week 3, and I'm really hoping that I will be able to get to that, goal within a year. And if I'm going to be able to do it, I'm going to be so happy to help all of you out there who are, facing that belly fat issue, right? So let me live and learn, and then I can give you all the knowledge that I've gotten from my
I
own
think
experience.
really excellent advice, and all the love is just pouring in. But let's just get on to the next question. Yeah, and I think whenever I wake up in the morning, I'm having pain in my fingers, and a lot of women suffer from wrist pain as well during breastfeeding. So, are there any exercises
Oh,
to relieve the wrist pain? I think it's called Dawn-Quivers syndrome or something like that.
okay. This is something that I haven't heard very commonly. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I didn't face anything myself, and I
Yeah.
haven't really heard or anything from all the other moms that I normally talk to. Uh, but from
But
breastfeeding, you mean
so I used to have a lot of pain in my wrist after
because of the way
breastfeeding.
you're holding your baby, is it?
No, it's not that. It's just something which is related to breastfeeding. And I had
Okay,
also considered a physiotherapist at that time. And it was
okay,
mostly that, we were like I used to just twist my wrist and, scrunch my
yeah,
fingers, and it used to go away after a while. But I just
okay.
remember it being there for about 2 months. And then, as the baby starts solids and the breastfeeding frequency reduces, it just tends to go away.
So did
So,
your physiotherapist tell you any particular reason or why it happens?
it's a very common syndrome for breastfeeding women. And
Okay.
it's called dawn fever syndrome, if I'm not wrong. It's not something that I had studied before this. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
might have to
Nor have I. So,
years.
right.
But yeah,
But there are
I
simple things you can do
yeah,
to just, like your
just
movements,
an exercise like
movements like this. Yeah. This
yeah.
and, this, right? You can do all of this. You can even go on all fours on the ground, like that, all fours and this way. All of these basic movements can just, loosen the stiffness and all of that. I know a lot of us go through a lot of shoulder and neck pain, which is why, I tell people to do all of these exercises, do your triceps and all the shoulder work and biceps and forearms. Basic stuff like this can help you just release all the tension there, and just get someone in the house to kind of massage a little bit around here and release all the tension. Simple stuff, right? We don't
Yeah.
have to, which is why I say that soon after feeding, right, get up and move. Get up, shake and move. Like, don't sit there or don't go back and lay down on your bed. Finish your
Mm.
feeding, walk around a little bit, let some blood circulation happen, loosen up a little bit, which is what I've always done, right? I feed, I get up, and I walk around for 10 minutes for sure, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, simple stuff.
One more question is, I am 5 months postpartum planning to start weight training exercises. Oh, 6 months. So, how much time should you wait for weight training?
5 months postpartum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Please start. Like when I went to my physiotherapist a day before yesterday, uh, I mean, I finished 2.5 months, right? And he told me that I can start picking up weights already. Like 3 months, you can start picking up weights. But see, the truth is you have to start light weights. Like don't get too excited. Like I know I will get very excited and probably look at picking heavier, but don't be that person, and you have to mindfully do it. Say, let me start with baby weights. Like I'm doing everything like in baby steps, right? So pick up 2 kgs, 5 kgs, and just do it slowly. But yes, if you're 5 months postpartum, go ahead and start your weight training. Go ahead and start your resistance training.
Right.
Yeah. How do you
And
start after a long break?
yeah,
Yeah. You
all
start
your
like me.
you just start immediately. But if somebody's not started, how do they start after a long break?
Yeah. You start like me. You start very, very slow. So even my plank is like knee plank, right? I'm not doing a regular plank. I'm actually going on my knee. So I do everything like a beginner would do, right?
Hmm.
Everything, whether it's a burpee or a plank or walking, I'm doing what a typical beginner would do who hasn't worked out for a long time, right? So just drop down the intensity completely. There is no need for you to add intensity. Like I said, I started week 3. I'm in week 12 of postpartum, but I'm still taking it slow, right? There is no need for you to hurry. So that's how you come back after a long break. You start slow, and the first thing you start is walking. Just start walking, move that body, loosen up, and then everything else will follow. Post weight training, can I breastfeed immediately? Sorry, I just saw that question and I took
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Yes. So if you're, one second, 10, 10 reps means you have to do it 10 times, 10 repetitions, right? Sorry, 10 reps is 10 repetitions. Like abdominal breathing, inhale, exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2. That's what it means, right? So yeah, post weight training, yes, you can. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Like I said earlier, if you do a vigorous exercise, vigorous activity, due to the lactic acid buildup, sometimes your milk can taste a little different, apparently, but otherwise there is no problem, right? But what I have been practicing is I feed and finish, and then I go do my workout. Then I come back, kind of shower and all of that. So I give it like about 15, 20 minutes, and then I feed again. So yeah, it's working for me. So, try certain different ways of doing it, and you'll figure something will work for you, right?
There's no right and wrong, I guess.
So yeah, someone said that I've been having lower back stiffness post pregnancy for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Ratika, I would really, really recommend you see a physiotherapist and go through some physiotherapy. If it's a stiffness, it's all about just releasing the stiffness, doing some, core rehab work. Please do it. See one now and you can thank me later. I managed to lose weight overall and can fit into older clothes, but my postpartum tummy, yes. So it's always boils down to the postpartum tummy. Now I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to say it like really loud and clear that for your postpartum belly fat to go away, you have to go on a very, very, very clean meal plan, right? And that clean meal plan is not something that you can build it for yourself. Even I don't build my meal plan myself, right? You have to consult a qualified nutritionist because they know it best. Nobody else can do it better than a qualified nutritionist. They've studied, like I said in my recent post, they have studied for years to be able to help people lose weight, gain muscle, whatever be the goal, or even
Yeah.
gain weight, right? So please don't do any kind of diets on your own, or pick up, okay, this meal will help me reduce this much weight, let me just do this. Your body and my body are very different. You could lose weight faster, I could lose weight slower. It could be anything, right? So just find yourself a good nutritionist, and do a plan with them for like a quarter, 3 months, I promise you, you will see a world of difference. That belly will be gone. I'm not joking, right? And like I said, I'm going to be that example, and I want to be that example, which is why I'm working
Yeah.
hard on myself. There is no shortcut here. You have to work extremely hard. I work out 5 to 6 days a week, at least for 30 minutes. And, I'm eating a little more consciously and mindfully right now. I'm done with all the ice creams during my pregnancy and also all the ghee and laddus post delivery in the first month. Now I'm really focusing on eating good, nutrients and moving a lot. That's the only way, my dear. So find yourself a good nutritionist, get on a very clean meal plan, and I promise you that belly will go away.
Yeah. And there are two more interesting questions here. One is any specific exercises to lose double chin and fat near the neck area?
Oh, so,
And
yeah, fair question. There is no, like, we don't talk about spot reduction, or we don't talk about reducing fat in one part of the body, right? Like, I can't do a workout and expect to lose weight only on my thighs or only on my tummy or even only on my, like, there are questions on how do I lose weight on my breasts or on my chest, right? You can't isolate, right? When
part of
you
your
do a
body.
workout, where a cardio and a combination of strength training, right? You will lose weight or you will lose fat overall, right? That is the most important thing. So automatically your chin, your neck, all of this area will start looking a lot leaner when you start losing that excess fat in the body. So don't try to do anything particularly just for the neck area or just for the thigh area. It really doesn't work that way. Just focus on a great workout plan, which has to be a combination of a cardio and strength training, resistance training, or and keep your mobility and stretching going all the time, right? Focus on your good warm up, good cool down, which is a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility, and you're sorted. Yeah, it's not so complex if you actually get that initial help from a nutritionist or from a good trainer or something. But when we just keep doing this on our own and trying to figure things from different
Yeah.
people, it gets all the more complex.
Yeah. Cool. And do you recommend using a belly belt? And a lot of in
Oh,
traditional
you know what? I should tell you I should
sari.
tell you this. Yeah, that's a great question. So, there are two different schools of thought here, okay? Traditionally, they tell you wear the sari, wear the belt. The sari is supposed to work wonders, right? I even tried it briefly, right? I wore it for, I think, about, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks or something. The
Yeah.
sari, when that was initially when I had some help at home, that lady would help me tie. And I felt like, a difference in the beginning, right? And then when she left, I tried wearing the belt for, a few days. And what happened was, and I was normally, because I was doing everything on my own and I didn't have help, a lot of movements that I did was so quick and I was doing them with the belt on that I hurt myself, right? Because I did a bending movement too fast, picking her up, and all of that. That my right oblique muscle was actually strained because of that, right? And then I said, you know what? I don't think I need this because I'm not, I have to move quickly and all of that to get things done. And it's not going to really make a world of a difference. It does make a difference, but not a world of a difference, I guess. So I just stopped wearing after a few weeks, right? So I think it's different school of thought. Traditionally, we wear it and it helps. I'm not saying it does not help. The initial times when you're wearing a sari, and sari, I guess, is a lot safer because it's a cloth. The belt
Yeah.
has a slightly, sharper edges or thicker edges, which can actually give you a muscle strain if you're doing any quick, rapid movement. So be careful about it. If you don't wear it, also, it's fine because ultimately all that fat is not going to burn with the belt, right? Also remember that the belt is worn, for greater support and not because you can lose weight or fat with it. That's not
Yeah.
going to happen really. So yeah, I wore for a few weeks and then I decided not to. I just said, forget it, let the body just take its own time. I'll do the right thing by exercising and eating right, and then it'll just follow.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Priyanka Roy. Priyanka Roy says, say my name. I like that song. Say my name. Yeah, great.
What is the right time to start Zumba or dance fitness? I
Oh,
think you
you can,
answered.
yeah,
Yeah.
I said that. See, if you have if you've had a normal delivery, just go for it, from week 2, week 3. I mean, after your core rehab, always start your core rehab. Like I said, walking, core rehab, and other activities. And if you can get your physiotherapist ka opinion, great. But you can start dancing in about 3 or 4 weeks, honestly. Uh, it's absolutely fine. Just keep it moderate. Don't have to
Yeah.
make it intense. Okay, don't make it vigorous. Keep it moderate.
I think dancing starting with fun and then
Yeah,
maybe to like.
absolutely. It's just about moving, right? And when I say moderate, what do I mean by moderate intensity? When I say moderate intensity, I'm talking about, movement where you're able to have a conversation with the other person, right? So you're dancing, you're moving, you're walking, and all of that. And when you try talking, you're actually able to talk. You're breathing slightly heavy, but you're able to talk, right? That is moderate intensity. Vigorous is you're breathing so heavy and you just cannot talk. We don't want to get there right now. That can come much later.
Yeah. Very sound advice, Shwetambari. And I think one more question here, which is great, is can we snack on protein bars, when we're hungry? Or is
Yeah,
it better
I
to
mean,
have like,
honestly, protein bars, it depends. Okay, someone else is asking that does exercise during nursing reduce milk supply? No, it doesn't. Maybe she logged in later or something.
yeah,
No, my dear, it does not. Keep it moderate intensity. It will not impact your lactation at all. Okay, don't make it intense. Yeah, about the protein bars. Now, see, you need protein, you need good carbs, you need good fat, all of that, right? Um, you can get protein from a lot of other things also when you're snacking. Question is how much of sugar does this protein bar have? Are you making this protein bar on your own? Those protein energy bombs and all you make at home, right? Are you doing this at home on your own, or are you buying it? And if you're buying it, you look at the back of it and just see how much of unnecessary stuff it has. If it has all that unnecessary stuff, why do you want those unnecessary empty calories? You don't want it, right? So try to make these oatmeal cookies and stuff at home, or oatmeal balls. These are good for lactation and they're great snacks. I was using that. But try to make it at home or have like a friend do it for you. You don't need to necessarily buy it from somewhere, right? Like I used
yeah,
to eat fenugreek, methi, right? Methi or fenugreek seeds are great for lactation, right? So I used to eat, I got this place called Kanush to make these methi laddus for me. Okay. And it was super healthy. Like they used very, very minimum jaggery in it. It was a lot of methi by itself. So I used to eat that one laddu during my snack, and it would make me happy because there was a little sweetness in it, and it would also help me with the lactation. So yeah, so lots of things that you can do differently, and it can truly, truly help you with nutrition plus lactation.
right. I think we are towards the end of our session. We have only 6 minutes before Insta kicks us out because the Insta live just lasts for an hour and then automatically it switches off.
Yes,
So maybe we
yes.
can have sort of a rapid fire where you can just give like very short answers to all the questions.
Okay, sure. I'll try.
Please tell if I can have ghee on empty stomach.
Well, that they do that in the ashram as a part of cleanse. Okay, so I've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, one
Uh,
second. Someone asked me where did I get the methi laddu from? I got it from this place called Kanush. Like they make it for you. So I think Shaila Bhatt is there saying thank you. So yeah, she helped me get them. But I got it from Kanush. They just made it for me. They don't you can't just directly order or something, but they made it for me. Sorry. Yeah, I guess if you have these questions, we can answer them later.
hey, yeah. I'm just looking
Yeah.
for questions where, which have already not been covered. Why most nutritionists recommend supplements? Is it important to have
Hey,
supplements?
yeah, so there is a big thing about supplements. People look at supplements as medicines. They're not. They're two very different things. Why do you supplement? You supplement when you're not getting enough nutrition from your food. Simple, right? If your food has all the nutrition that your body needs, you don't need to supplement. But if your food does not contain that, because our food today is grown in certain ways where the nutrition is gone away by the time it reaches us, right? And also food is not seasonal anymore. Like all food is available through the year. So you don't know what is seasonal anymore. Like if you ask me which fruit is seasonal, I probably don't know anymore, right? So that's why you lose a certain amount of nutrition from the food you get. Now, if that nutrition is less in your food, you have deficiencies in the body, which lead to hair loss, hormonal imbalance, so many other problems, right? Which is why you supplement. So supplementation is not medication. It is giving you the nutrition that your body needs, which you're not getting from food. But do not supplement on your own. Supplement again, either a doctor needs to tell you what supplements to take, or a qualified nutritionist needs to tell you what supplements to take. I have never supplemented on my own, not even vitamins. Like I just don't take anything external until I have been told to do so by my nutritionist or by my doctor when I go for my 6 monthly checkup.
Yeah. And how to make sleep better after delivery? I guess there is a lot of stitches.
You know, so everyone, yeah, everybody gave me also like a, you know, a prep that you will be sleepless. And that's true, right? You are going to be sleepless, and that mentally kind of breaks you. And the lucky part for me is I can sleep like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this concept of sleep when the baby sleeps worked a little bit for me, right? So I slept in the night, actually, I slept every time the baby slept. In the day, I would sleep like for an hour or two in the morning after bathing, you know, the hot water bath. It puts you to sleep anyways. So for 1.5 hours after that, and then I would not sleep until post lunch. So post lunch, again, I would get about 2 hours. So all in total, in 24 hours, I always ended up getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, I could sustain very well with 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Like I did
Yeah.
not, even if it was in breaks, I was happy with that much. I
Yeah.
still had a lot of energy to do everything. But different bodies are different, right? I mean,
Yeah.
all bodies are different. So someone needs 10 hours, someone may need 6 hours. But sleep when the baby sleeps is true. You have to just do it that way, and there is no
Yeah.
way, no other way to do it. So
And I
practice
think
that.
that expecting to get 7 to 8 hours of continuous sleep, you should lose that expectation in the beginning. Just sleep in parts whenever you get a
Yeah.
chance.
True. That's going to take anyway, I think about 5 months, right? 5, 6 months before we can sleep
More than
7 long hours. So you sleep when the baby sleeps is a great plan. Post
that.
lunch is a good time to sleep. So you plan your feed. Like I've set a routine now with my baby, right? Like my baby has like there's a feed at 1 p.m. So she feeds at 1 p.m. and then I eat and then I go to sleep, right? So then we both wake up together around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So you know that post lunch sleep you will sleep well because you've eaten a good meal, and your baby also sleeps well because the baby has just fed also. So you may get about 2 to 3 hours of continuous sleep. So if you can plan a routine for your baby, it will. I know it's easier said than done, but honestly, I've tried it, right? The first month was
Yeah.
hard. Second month was harder with no help, but that no help helped me put a routine for my baby, right? I
Yeah.
actually put a routine the way it kind of works in my favor and
Mhm.
also doesn't compromise on her needs, right? Like the
Yeah.
last feed will be at 11:30 p.m. and the next feed is at like 5:30 a.m. and she actually is now used to sleeping from 11:30, 12 to 5:30 in the morning, right? It took time. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of crankiness in the beginning. But I know in India, we tend to like, you know, like, okay, the baby's a little cranky, little crying, and we're like, oh no, and we immediately. So I did that too. But then, of course, my husband helped me with it, and we kind of put a routine, and it really helps now. Like it's beautiful. Like 11:30, 12. Next is 5:36. Then, you know, we just have a clean routine which works in both our
Yeah.
favors. So try
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Cool. I think the questions will keep coming in, and most of them have been answered. So we'll be posting this video right after this call.
Sure.
But we are at 12:30 now, and this will be a short goodbye. But thank you so much, Shwetambari, for being here. This was a super, super, super useful talk. I'm sure all our audience are like really happy. There are so many, so much love that's flowing through the comments, and we can't take all. But thank you for everyone who joined us. Thank you, Shwetambari,
Yeah,
for giving this talk for us. And we will be
sure.
posting this video as well as another video that Shwetambari will be sharing with us very soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes,
so
and
much.
anything, just connect with us on
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you everybody for listening and watching, and connect with me, and I can answer a lot of questions, or we'll put up stuff on the mom store.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.